All right, LSU fans, I've got a really fun one today. One of my favorite people out at LSU and a guy who's been great to all of us in the media, a 2019 graduate of LSU and has been on day one been the sports information director for Kim Mulkey and the LSU women's basketball program. And we're recording this on the eve of LSU #1 versus #9 in the PMAC Thursday night, a game that everybody's had circled on the schedule. And what we've been seeing the last couple of weeks is everybody's scrambling to try and get tickets. And if you're going to get them third party, you're probably going to pay a pretty penny. So, Grant Kauvar, welcome in, man. Talk about what it's been like for you the last 3 days. When I talked to you Monday, you said you had 87 credential requests. What is it up to now? About 130?
Yeah, that number's just shooting up. We closed it on Monday, and we're going to have a record amount of media in there for women's basketball games. So it's going to be really exciting. There's obviously a big buzz around the game. We got ESPN College Game Day that'll be here, prime time, ESPN tip-off. So I know everybody around here is super excited. The PMAC's going to be rocking, and it's just going to be a great day to be a Tiger.
Now, you give us a little education on ESPN Game Day. How often is it that they do those during a weekday game? Is it pretty common?
Yeah, I remember last year they had a weekday game. Tennessee was hosting UConn on a Thursday night last year. They did that. So it sort of varies, between either weekday or the morning of Sunday. They typically, if they do a women's show on the weekend, it's on Sunday.
Talk about just some of the fanfare that's leading up to this one that is beyond anything that you've seen. I mean, look, there's been some big games. Obviously, LSU's hosted several regionals since Kim's been the head coach at LSU. But what takes this to another level just that you're seeing where your eyeballs get real big at the end of the day when you check out to go home, that you kind of look at what the day's been like leading up to this one?
Well, I think this game is interesting because, obviously last year we went into Columbia. That was on Super Bowl Sunday, and they had a heck of an environment there for their home game. And that game didn't really go the way that we wanted it to go, but I think the team learned a lot last year based off how they lost that game. And I think the crowd had a large part to play in just us not getting off to the start that we wanted last year. So I think this year, obviously that crowd will be reversed, and hopefully they can give us a little bit of an edge. But I think there's so much fanfare. Obviously, you have two Hall of Fame coaches and Coach Mulkey and Coach Staley. You got the previous two defending national champions. We won it last year, and then South Carolina won it the year before. And you got two teams that are really talented. All teams have players that can score in double figures. They both have players that shoot the ball efficient on the offense. They got players that can bang down there on the inside in the paint. And it's just going to be a battle out there. And then you talk about all the extra hype of what College Game Day brings. And you got all the big name women's basketball people from ESPN that'll be in town. You'll have Holly Rowe, Rebecca Lobo, Andrea Carter. The list goes on of those folks that'll be here. And that's exciting. That's good for the game of women's basketball. That's good for LSU women's basketball. And we're trying to really make it a show. And with it being a national TV audience, obviously a lot of people in women's basketball that aren't associated with South Carolina and LSU have been looking forward to this game. So we know that there's going to be a lot of eyeballs, and it's a great chance to show what we think is the best home court advantage in all of college women's basketball.
Well, if we rewind a little bit and think back to when they released the SEC schedule, and when everybody immediately scrolled down to find out where South Carolina landed, because kind of wanted a Sunday or a Super Bowl Sunday home game. And then immediately when we saw it on Thursday, then you're also thinking, well, is it a doubleheader and you're going to get messed up because they're going to put you at 8 o'clock? Well, it looks like they really did LSU and the country a solid because they put it in prime time at 7. Like you said, game day's coming. I know the weather is awful right now, but I was looking at it before you and I started recording this, and it's going to be thunderstorming tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, but I think it might clear out and only be cloudy by the time you have the food trucks and everything that's outside the PMAC You're going to be letting in what, a half hour to an hour earlier, folks, to get into the stands.
Yep.
Oh,
So we'll have the party on the plaza there, on the south side of the PMAC between the ramps. That we'll have food trucks. There'll be games for people to play, some marketing giveaways, all that there on the plaza, and then up sort of near the student entrance, College Game Day. They'll have some giveaways specifically for students and a station where students are able to make signs. So I know we've sort of been tracking the weather all week, and it's supposed to be rainy, but it's looking, keep our fingers crossed, like that'll move out just in time for people to get to campus and start getting
I think
out.
it might. I'm looking at the map and reading weather, and I think it might actually end up being nice at the end of the day. With still a chance of rain, but maybe it's going to be really minor, and it'll end up being nice at the end of the day.
Yeah,
So,
look, I think even if there is a slight drizzle, I think people have been looking forward to this game for a really long time. I don't think it's going to keep people from coming out. People are
no.
excited for this game. Luckily, we play inside, so once you get in there, the rain doesn't go in there. So regardless of what it is tomorrow inside the PMAC, it's just going to be electric.
So tell me this: as far as doing your job, obviously the media attention, this is going to set records, and at the end of the day, I'm sure when we get your release, we're going to get all the superlatives of what the game brought, win or lose, attendance wise and coverage. But is it all hands on decks in the sports information department, where we're going to see everybody that works there that's normally not there for women's basketball, helping you and everybody do the job tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think we'll have a few extra hands tomorrow night. We're going to have a lot of photographers there, a lot of media. That's only going to add to some of the excitement that is going on in there. You'll have all the cameras down there pre-game, and College Game Day will be down there. So space is going to be a little tight down there, but I think that's okay.
Well, it's a No.1 versus No.9. I think everybody thought back in October, November, this might be a 1 versus 2, or I think after what happened at Auburn a couple of Sundays ago and the way they played at Alabama and how they looked against Arkansas, like Kim Mulkey said Sunday, and like Michaela Williams said, as a team, they said they're not going to be out hustled or outworked. And I think that they turned, I don't know how many corners they got left to turn, but I think that definitely turned a corner for them and bonded that team, that loss at Auburn. It might have been good for them in the long run, but it's going to be a tall order tomorrow night with South Carolina, no doubt.
No doubt, it's going to be a tall order. Obviously, that's what you want. You want it to be hard. That's what makes it feel so good when you end up winning those types of games. And you think back to last year, and we had that loss at South Carolina. The team used that as an opportunity to learn, and then you go into the SEC tournament in the semifinals. You bring this big lead into halftime against Tennessee, and Tennessee has a great comeback to reach the SEC championship. Well, the team, they looked themselves in the mirror after that game, and they learned from it. And then you fast forward to the national championship. I want to say it was the same point lead at halftime of the national championship as it was against Tennessee. And I definitely think that having that Tennessee game to lean on, that experience, how they gave the lead away in that game, they were able to carry that into the national championship and make sure that didn't happen then. So then you fast forward to this year, and obviously we got off on not a great foot losing to Colorado, but the team responded well and went on a great winning streak after that. And then, a couple Sundays ago, we went into Auburn, and they sort of outworked us, and give credit to them. They were able to take us out of some of the stuff that we do. But ever since then, I think the team has really come together. They've been playing really great basketball, especially on the defensive side of things. And they've sort of turned a corner, and I think they're right where they need to be at going into this game Thursday. And now you get to play South Carolina, who's No.1. They're undefeated, and see where the chips fall. If you beat them,
what I think? You're absolutely right. And you know what I also think? Obviously, you got the Hall of Fame coach in Kim Mulkey, who's played in big game after big game her entire career, or playing career, throughout her entire athletic life. But I also think a secret weapon, or not so secret weapon, is going to be Bob Starkey and what his game plan is going to be defensively. I've been thinking about him for the last couple of days, and just knowing what he's, I bet you he hadn't left the film room, taking it home and figuring out things. And that's a hell of a weapon that Coach Mulkey's got on her staff, to have Bob Starkey, and those girls on that team respond to him and what he wants them to do defensively. It seems like.
Look, I mean, Bob Starkey, he's been doing it a really long time. Obviously, had a really long stint. Started with the men's program here at LSU, then worked with the women's program. Sue Gunter even brought a team as an interim head coach to the Final Four for the Tigers. And we're so blessed that he's back at LSU. He's a tireless worker. He puts great scouting reports together. And one of the things about the scouting reports that I think stands out about him is his ability to communicate the scouting report in a way where it's easy for the girls to understand and digest, and all they have to do is go out and execute. He does a really good job of breaking all that down for them, so they really just need to go perform.
Well, the girls, they want to perform for him. I mean, look, as the media, that as we cover them, every now and then a Flaugier will say something about, I don't want Coach Starkey to fuss at me, or, and you watch how they interact when they come in and out of the game and substitutions with him. And Coach Mulkey said it many, many times about what it's like having him there, because he and her they think alike, and what a boon that's been for her to have him as a part of her staff when she had an opening to get him back here.
Look, I mean, Bob's a guy. He's been an assistant coach his entire career. He's never had any desire to be a head coach. He could have been a head coach if he wanted to, but he's always been comfortable in that number 2 role, sort of being a voice of reason with the head coach and somebody that the head coach can rely upon. And I know him and Coach Mulkey, they have a great working relationship. They see things the same way in a lot of aspects of the game. And then he's also not afraid, if he needs to make his voice known. And if we need to do something this way, he's going to make it known that this is how we need to do it. And she's comfortable with Bob giving his input, and really our entire coaching staff, starting with Kim, going all the way down. They're always bouncing ideas off of each other. And it's no wonder that she's had so much success in his career. And somebody like Bob is a great person to be on that staff.
Just saw that blink and the thunderstorm through my microphone. It's getting bad here in Baton Rouge. All right, Grant, before I let you go, any word for the fans? Arrive early, this, that, what messages that you need for the public that are planning to attend, to have them either ready? Look, you ain't have to worry about them being ready. They're going to be fired up tomorrow night, but arrive early. What else did the fans need to know when they come to the stadium tomorrow?
Look, I would just say arrive early. LSU fans, they know how to have a good time. Arrive early. Get over there to the party in the plaza at 3:30. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the atmosphere. This has got to be one of, if not the most hyped LSU women's basketball home game of all time. So take it all in. Get there as soon as the doors open at 5:30. Make sure you get in there. It's a great opportunity for us to show what the PMAC atmosphere is all about with LSU women's basketball, and get in there early so that atmosphere can be shown on ESPN's College Game Day, and that'll lead straight into tip. And then just be loud, be rowdy, be how you always are.
All right, Grant Kauvar, everybody. Thanks for jumping on with us for this segment, and we'll see you Thursday night.
Absolutely, Mike. Thanks for having me.
All right, Grant. Thanks.